Concerning philosophy and philosophical thinking, one of the things that I say most people don't realize about philosophy or philosophical thinking or any thinking discipline for that matter is that 99.9 repeating percent of philosophy is not trying to tell you what things are. It's not about what is, it's about what if. It's about if this, then that. What philosophy mostly is not saying is this, so that. So where it is saying this is, or I assume it is saying this is, I'm quite sure that I am not philosophically adept enough to understand. And even if it were to say this is, what's that? I think it was Buddha, though Eckhart Tolle and R.D. Laing pointed it out to me as well. Words are but fingers pointing to the moon. But of course the problem with philosophy, with religion, with math, with art, with literature, with politics, with the news, whatever, is that we get caught up in the finger. And then if we think of Baudrillard and hyper-reality, it's like a finger pointing at a finger, pointing at a finger, pointing at a finger, pointing at the moon. But then, like, this series of fingers all of a sudden breaks off, and it's just a circle of fingers pointing at each other. But I think we find within that revolution within the tide pool, within the circular self-reference. As Baudrillard, I think, himself more or less stated in his essay in art form, I think, from the early 80s, what are you doing after the orgy? Is that there's still a lot of there's still a finger pointing at the moon, even if we ourselves have started pointing to it, and there's still the moon. At least this metaphor, the metaphorical moon that I'm speaking about. So at this point, I don't know truth. I presume truth. I deal in the currency of what is. This, in my mind, is the heart of skepticism. Skepticism is a word used in popular vernacular. It's taken on a negative connotation, a restrictive connotation. Becomes synonymous with cynicism, which probably itself has considering its origins may be too harsh of a connotation as well. But skepticism is not that which restricts. Skepticism is that which allows for the consideration of all possibilities. Yet it doesn't allow us to accept a possible truth as a real truth without proof, whether that proof be rational, whether that proof receives its authority through experience, skepticism is what allows us to present before ourselves a vast, imaginative landscape of possibilities. And from that vast landscape, we can often witness that truths, as we seek them, will find us. Dr. Sebi says, I don't believe anything. I know or don't know. It's my opinion that he probably does know quite a bit. I, on the other hand, am vaguely beyond I think, therefore I am. If I'm beyond that, so unfortunately, I would like to say I don't believe anything, but that's not true. Because I can witness my beliefs as they manifest themselves in my life. Some of these beliefs are conscious, some of these beliefs are subconscious. What I can say is I know very little. I am still under the foot of belief. But where I do have control, in that small area where I've taken control, I aspire to the tenets of skepticism, among other things. That's what I'm talking about here. And it seems the best I can do now is weigh the options of possibilities and do my best to understand and even to understand opposing philosophies or standards. Just thought that was worth noting. That I live in the land of what if. And it's a position I embrace not as a flight of fancy, but because I don't know. And I wish to know.